Cheers, my loves. In this video, I will be sharing an opinion about why I consider casual sexual encounters toxic for women as something that should not at all be part of the feminist female empowerment movement, and as something that denies the nature of woman in reality, and why it's quite bad for you in the longer run, right? So, number one reason, right? Surveys show that most women consider most men unattractive. Because most men are unattractive. It's not because women have very high standards. It's not because most women are delusional. I'd also like to go back to the idea that men age like wine and women age like milk. In my personal life, I found the opposite. I've seen plenty of women who've aged very well and plenty of men who aged precisely like milk. So going off of that, if most women already consider most men unattractive, 80%, then we're left with the 20%. So theoretically speaking, it's these 20% that the woman will be looking at for casual sexual encounters, which are satisfying to them, because how are you going to have a satisfying encounter with somebody that you don't consider attractive? That seems to be a kind of basic prerequisite, right? And within that 20%, there's going to be a bunch of guys that women consider average or otherwise a turn off. So really, you're looking at the top 10% of guys. So that's why statistically, when you look at it, you find that there's more unfaithful women than there are unfaithful men, and it's because the same guys are sleeping with a lot of different women, because it's these guys that the women are finding attractive. So already you're looking at a group of women, because men are a lot less selective. A guy just needs you to be average because he can get off on novelty. He doesn't need you to be as attractive as a woman needs a guy to be attractive. So that's actually funny, because we say men are visual, yes, but men are also more novelty driven because they're also more control driven. This drive that men have as a result of being connected to their ego, which makes them feel like the sexual act is actually a way of establishing their control and their dominance over a woman. And if this is a new woman, there's notably going to be a stronger pull towards establishing his control over her than towards re-establishing his control over somebody that he's already been with. So in that regard, men are going to be less selective, women are going to be more selective. So there will be that, I don't know, 30-40% of women going for the same guys, and these guys who are already ego driven, who are already control driven, getting ever inflated egos that are more and more aggrandized in the regards of their own sexual value, right? So that is the first reason. The second reason is women need emotional connection. Most women, the vast majority of women, need an emotional connection. It is a lie that she's going to enjoy an encounter with somebody that she doesn't have any emotional connection to. In fact, if you look at these studies, you will find that most women do not experience pleasure during these one-night stands and these random encounters. Not only that, studies will show you that most men and women will tell you that the experiences were less satisfying and less enjoyable than the experiences with a partner who already knows them. But women in generally, the amount of women who are capable of experiencing physical pleasure during these encounters is something like 30-40%. Now, almost all women are going to pretend that they do, but the vast majority will not. So this is a problem on two fronts. On one front, it is a problem because this woman is effectively subjecting herself to a form of violence. And in the best case scenario, she's subjecting herself to that in order to get a little bit of what? Affection, attention, physical connection. And the man is being taught that that kind of sharing that kind of physical intimacy with a person is a form of violence, because he may not perceive on a conscious level that that is what is taking place, because she is acting like she's engaged, she's acting like she's enjoying it, she's acting like she's into it. But on an energy level, he is perceiving the fact that there is no energy exchange taking place there. This is very much a one-sided kind of encounter. The kind of energy that he's getting back is not the kind of energy that he should be getting back. So he is getting conditioned with that idea of normalizing violence. And not only normalizing violence, but also men tend to think that they become better at the act, the more people that they have been with. Sometimes that can be the case, and sometimes what actually becomes bigger isn't that they got better, it's the disconnect. It's the disconnect between them and the other person. They may gain skills or think that they gain certain skills, but their ability to actually read their partner, their ability to actually interpret the moment, to actually fully connect to somebody, gets very much negatively affected. Okay, here's sorry, I need to open the door for my cat. All right, so here's another reason. A lot of women are going to be doing this because they're in a kind of friends with benefits situation, or they think that having casual encounters like that is something that is going to lead to her having a relationship with a guy that she considers particularly attractive, interesting, or whatever it is. Now, in the East, it is normalized that women have very few sexual partners. In the West, somehow these days, it's become normalized that it's okay to have dozens. And imagine if somebody is going through this experience over and over again, where they think that this is the way to establish a relationship, this is a way to establish an emotional connection, this is what she has to offer in order to get the guy to value her. And if the count is in the dozens, how many guys have rejected her? How many guys have not offered her what she actually was hoping to get from them? How many guys have negatively affected her ego, her self-esteem, her self-concept, her idea of herself as a woman, and she let them? Because again, this toxic branch of feminism somehow made her believe that she is empowering herself and that she is exactly the same as a guy. So here are the top 3 reasons for me, which aren't necessarily connected to the risk of pregnancy and to the risk of getting some kind of illness, why this is complete nonsense. Why this is actually telling women that this is something that they should be doing, that they're cool for doing that, everybody is doing this, doesn't serve men or women, but it is especially a form of violence against women. It is a form of disrespect towards their actual needs and what they are. All right, cheers, my loves. I wish you all a beautiful day, and I'll be talking to you soon. Bye.